Hey everybody, my name is Zach REDRUP, this is the It's Not a Phase podcast, and on this episode I'm joined by Paul Green, who is the vocalist for Devil Sold His Soul and the Arusha Accord. We talked briefly about what's going on with those two bands at the moment, but Paul and I also discuss his new charity-driven project, Wolds, what it's all about, its debut single Worry, the charities he's working with, and loads more. Now, if you enjoyed this or any other episode of the podcast and you want to show your support, there's a few ways that you can do that. Number one, leave a rating and review wherever you're listening to this. It takes just a few seconds and it really does help. Number two, share this on your social media, whether that be Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever. Or number three, if you want to go the extra mile, you can pay a little bit each month to join the Patreon, and in return you'll get access to episodes early along with some other perks, or you can pick up some merch from the store. All the links to that and the podcast socials where you can follow us can be found at itsnotaphase.co.uk. That's itsnotaphase.co.uk. And now with all that out of the way, let's jump right into this week's episode of It's Not a Phase. What's up everybody? Thank you for joining me on this episode of It's Not a Phase, where I'm joined by Paul Green, who you probably know as the vocalist of Devil Sold His Soul and the Arusha Accord, but has also got a new project out, which we're going to talk about today, called Wolds. How are you doing today, Paul?
Hey Zach, good to see you again, mate. It's been a long time, but we've been doing this for probably about 15 years now together, haven't we?
Yeah, I think the first time I met you was Ghosts Fest. I can't remember what year. Was it 2010, maybe?
Maybe it was at the Leeds Uni one. First one I did there, I think, and I was really drunk. I remember that because me, Alex, and I think we just announced that we were going on a hiatus at that point. That was the show that we did it, and everyone was on a rampage. So apologies for that.
Yeah, that was a good gig though. I kind of miss Ghost Fest. It's kind of a good festival, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a different scene back then, definitely. Good and bad. There's pros and cons to definitely how things were back then. I think everyone's cleaned up their act a bit these days. Yeah. But there was a good community vibe as well back then. Yeah,
absolutely. How was your Christmas and New Year's? What did you get up to?
It was good, just family stuff really. Like did a bit of writing as well over that period, but mostly just taking a breather. I mean, like everybody, a lot of people in music, I've got a side hustle in terms of work, and it's just been pretty intense over the last year trying to balance everything. So just having a bit of a breather, I just needed it to come up for air.
Yeah, that's it. It's just like, especially with like how intense the past few years have been with the lockdowns and everything that surrounds that. It's just nice to just kind of turn off just for a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. We had, I think it was the first Christmas in 4 we'd seen any of our family. We were away, I think we were in New Zealand, my wife and I, like 3 years ago, and then obviously COVID, and then we had COVID the following year, so we had to cancel all of our Christmas plans. So it was kind of nice seeing everybody, seeing my parents and family, etc. And it felt kind of surreal that we were doing it. But it's just nice to kind of take a break from everything else, take a break from social media, and just focus on like the people around you.
So, as I kind of said in the intro there, you've got this new project coming out called Wolds. You've got the debut single coming out soon called Worry. And it's, the main focus of this project, from what I understand, is, to help raise awareness and funds for some different charities and causes that are kind of close to your heart. Before we kind of unpack that a little bit more, when and how did the idea for this project begin?
So, I mean, you've probably noticed with Devil and Arusha that we don't write a lot very quickly. And that's for me, as somebody I don't feel like I've got a lot of music out in the world as much as I should have in 20 years of doing music. So it was born from not frustration necessarily, but just feeling that I needed to do more musically and get some more stuff out there. And always wanted to test myself and just kind of write myself. I've been so dependent upon other people, like musicians or whoever, to get music first and then write vocals to it, etc. So to kind of set myself a bit of a challenge, really. Just, can I do this? Am I actually able to write without others? And I partly passed that test and partly failed it because I've got a load of help in from others to sort of do bits in the studio. But yeah, I've been writing quite a lot. I mean, I can literally write a song a day, which is crazy when I spent months and months in the past writing things for Arusha and Devil. So it's it's just been a really kind of nice journey with that for me, and made me realize that I'm not as rubbish as I thought I was. That kind of thing. But it's a totally different way of writing as well. I write vocals first with this. So I guess the only song that I've ever done with any of the bands previously was Loss on the last record. So that was a vocal first song. And then we sort of wrote the music around it and then built on that from the initial phases. But yeah, I think we're probably going to end up doing a bit more of that in the future with Devil especially. But yeah, it's just been a really nice challenge. And I kind of made a decision to not do it for like personal gain, but do it more for charities. Not trying to be like some altruist, etc. But just I think there's more to life than just trying to rake in a few quid here and there. There's a lot of people out there deserve it more and need it more.
Yeah, and that's become increasingly the case in recent years with everything that's going on in the world, cost of living, and then businesses going under because of what's happened during the COVID lockdowns and stuff like that. So I think, a kind of selfless project like this is definitely something that's needed.
Yeah, it felt good. It feels good to be doing it as well. Like it's, and looking at the first charity that we're supporting off the first single, it's a charity called Young Minds. So Young Minds, they deal mostly with children and young people's mental health issues. They're providing like support in the community to parents, to schools, just for training resources, but also giving like parents helplines, kind of like how parents can get help for their kids and also how to talk to their kids about mental health. And obviously during lockdown and all of that, I had a lot of friends who have had more children at school ages, really struggled, really suffered with all this. And it's kind of put me on to thinking about using these guys as our first charity to donate to for the first song.
Yeah, because especially like when all that was going on, sometimes I guess it was hard to explain to kids exactly what the situation was, why they couldn't go out and play with their friends and do the things that they would normally do, why they're not in school. And when you're at that kind of age, I guess it's kind of hard to kind of comprehend the reasoning.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like when we were kids, we never, unless you had some personal stuff going on, like we didn't have this massive event. Nothing like this ever happened in our lives. And I feel like even our generations, kind of, myself included, have had issues with anxiety or depression, etc. And we never really had that toolkit when we were growing up to know how to deal with it. It sort of has come around now, but looking at this next generation coming through, having these toolkits available, getting out to them sooner rather than later will really help people through their lives. So you're not going into your 20s trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with you, and you're going into your 30s trying to understand your coping mechanisms. You're getting it early, you're being able to deal with these things. And I think that's, if this band can help with a little money go into that, then that's super cool.
And mental health, it's a universal struggle we all have, to varying degrees of, different people. And some people kind of cope with it in different ways. Some people cope with it better than others. And, kind of addressing those problems or just kind of knowing how to handle those problems better. What tends to help you during times when your mental health's kind of taken a bit of a dive, with whatever it may be, like anxiety, depression, just an off day?
I need to get that breath of air. That's one of the things. It's part of the reasons why I sort of moved to the countryside, away from sort of towns. Just you can get out for a walk, just clear your head a bit, switch off the phone, or if you need to, like just step away from all of those distractions, the things that kind of keep pinging around and making your brain whirl around so much. But just understanding the bits that kind of set you off as well. So I've been pretty good over the last sort of say 10 years of finding those elements that aren't healthy for me and just not doing them, or just cutting them out of my life, etc. And whether that's, I don't know, spending too long on my phone or drinking too much or whatever, just understanding your triggers.
Yeah, absolutely. To kind of return to the project itself, the name Wolds, that comes from kind of, you mentioned where you're from, the Cotswolds, is that right?
Yeah, so originally from Reading, but I moved up this way, I think 9 years ago now. It's definitely the best thing I've ever done. So this is home now, 100%. I don't think I'll move away from here unless they drag me away. It's just a beautiful area to be. Like I said, it's good for clearing my mind. That's kind of helped me a lot. But yeah, I just wanted to name the band after it because, hey, why not?
You'd say you're more of a country and small town boy than a city boy.
I am now, yeah. I think when I was growing up, I was supposed to spend as much time in London as possible with gigs, so, going to Astoria and all of those like quality venues that are not there anymore. But I think my life's changed quite a lot over the recent years. I'm probably a bit of an old man in a sort of younger man's body, especially mentally. So, it's helped me getting away to this area and sort of starting afresh. And it's just, it's great. Honestly, I couldn't recommend it more.
Yeah. I think it might be like an age thing that you say, because when I was like in uni and when I was much younger, I was like, I say much younger, about 10 years ago or so. I always wanted to kind of go to London because that's where everything's going on. But nowadays, I can't think of anything worse than going on the tube every day.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I think when we go on tour, it's a bit of a shock to the system. So if you go from here straight into the van and you're in a big city, it's pretty busy. So it's like, it takes me a good couple of shows to get used to that sort of environment. It probably sounds a bit weird, that, especially because the amount of shows I've played over the years, but it is quite strange. You get dropped from one like very different environment into another, and you kind of get stuck in your ways a little bit.
Yeah. And I guess it's kind of a shock as well then going back after tour's finished to what your life normally is.
I love tour, don't get me wrong, but like coming back home, straight out there mowing the lawn. It's one of the things that helps me clear my mind. I should have said that earlier when you asked me that question, but my wife probably thinks I'm absolutely mental. I know the guys in the band do, but it's just to switch off, go and do something different. It's good.
Yeah, and get a nice warm shower, an actual comfy bed.
Oh god, yeah. It's it's a bit different on tour, isn't it? We're lucky that we're in like travel lodges and stuff these days. But when it was Arusha, I remember one evening of many, like sleeping outside Rock City in the van with like 8 of us in the footwells across the seats, one on the dashboard.
Oh god.
Just you wake up in the morning, everyone's sort of condensation from the breath's just dripping all over you. It's grim. It's
grim.
Such a grim existence when you start out. But Devil was a bit of a step up in terms of how they look after themselves, which was a nice change.
Especially as you get older, like now, like I dread the idea of if like going to download or something and camping, I've got to get a hotel now.
Fair play.
Yeah.
I don't think I've done downloads since like 2009 or 10. And we camped that year. I think we were camping with, I remember I might have been driving Tesseract or somebody, I can't remember who it was, maybe Silosis. But just the thought of going back to that, no way.
Especially like the toilets and the showers and
oh god, yeah.
It's not for me. It's not for me.
You should get VIP now, Zach. Come on, you've been doing this game long enough.
Well, I wish I could get VIP, yeah, but at the moment, other than you with this project, it's Alex Woods and Johnny Renshaw, who are both in Devil as well. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, so I've been recording at Johnny's studio, and he's also helping me sort of piece together all the musical side of things and doing recording most guitars. We've had James Clayton, or everyone just calls him Clayton, from Arusha as well on this first couple of tracks. And it's been great to like kind of make music with mates without any pressure.
Yeah.
So usually like we're really, really tough on each other, not in a like nasty way or like or whatever within the bands, but we know we need to produce something like exceptional, etc., to go out to the record label, then to go onto the fans. I don't have any fans with this band. I don't have a record label. I don't need one because obviously they take a cut, and that's not what we want.
Yeah.
We want it all to go to charity. So we've just been having a lot of fun. It's just a bit of joking around in the studio, and I guess the idea of it as well is that we have kind of more rotating membership as well. It's not going to be, say, apart from maybe Johnny and Lex, I don't think there's any fixed members. Even myself, I don't feel that I need to sing on every single track. I'd be more than happy to have people sing instead. And as long as we're sticking to our pledge, which is to donate everything to charity, then happy days.
Yeah. And I guess as well, when you're doing it like that, there's no fixed members. That means the focus isn't on the people and the members in the band. The focus is more on what the project is, the message, and, the causes that you're working towards and whatever the song is.
100%. Yeah. I mean, that's partly why I'm probably not going to do any promo shots or anything like that for this at all. It's just going to be about the music rather than that. I don't really want that. I don't want to be like, with Devil and Arusha, etc. You get your buzzing about getting your magazine photos in there, and it's like cool, it goes in the scrapbook. I don't really care about that. So yeah, we'd just be putting music out there and selling a couple of t-shirts, hopefully, to try and help raise money to record the stuff, because it's not never cheap. But music, everything goes to that.
And with this debut single, Worry, like you said before, it's going towards organisation Young Minds. And in terms of the song itself, it's definitely stylistically very different from what you've done before. It's kind of like a pop rock, alt rock kind of song, and you've got a solo thrown in there for good measure as well.
Yeah, it's just fun. I guess that's the whole point. The thing is, I didn't want to do anything that I'd done before. I mean, I tried to do that when I joined Devil from Arusha as well. I went from tech metal to like more post metal, post rock, post hardcore, whatever you want to call it. It kind of feels important to me to not retread any like boards that you've done before, any steps. And because I'm writing it, it's simple. It's always going to be simple. And so Johnny's thrown in a pretty fun solo over the top of it. But yeah, stylistically, totally different. And that's kind of always a little bit of a worry that people are going to expect something you've done before. But we'll see. We'll see how it's received. I think it's quite fun. And it's not a bad song.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not. Like I said to you before, it's a really catchy, like alt rock, pop rock song, and very different from what you've done before. And like you say, very simple when, especially considering the other band that you're in. You know, some of those songs aren't. Well, I don't think any of the songs are simple, and some of them aren't short. Whereas, you know, you've gone on to this, and it's basically the polar opposite.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's true. I mean, I guess focus on these songs. It needs to be more universally appealing because you want it to be heard as much as possible, raise as much money as possible. But also, like, it's more about messages than anything. So lyrically, I get a lot of time to be able to focus on lyrics, whereas some of the songs in the past, like Arusha, even Devil at times, you have to sacrifice a lot of the things you want to say for the song because it's the way it's structured.
Yeah.
So not so much in this. I think lyrically, it's going to be. I mean, I think I've done about 6 songs so far. They're all decent. I'm happy with them.
And what kind of, are you going for any other styles with these other songs, or is it kind of?
Oh god, yeah, it's really broad. So I think some will make people like throw up a little bit because I've actually done a Christmas song as well, which is hilarious.
Well in advance.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I wrote that one in 2021, so around December, January time. It was never meant to be for anybody's ears. It was I wrote it for a friend and his family. He was having his treatment for leukemia, and he did for like sort of 3 to 6 months, pretty much stuck in hospital the entire time. So he's away from his family at that Christmas, and so I wrote him a song just about that, really, like, you know, this Christmas I won't be there, but next Christmas everything will be fine. Sort of that's the message it gives across anyway. But it's a little bit, it's very uncomfortable for me to write something like that because it's completely out of character. I'm used to like screaming down a microphone most of the time. But I put it up for 48 hours this Christmas just so people could hear it, because it was also the following Christmas from when he was in hospital, and it kind of completed the loop that he was back home with his family. And it was just it was nice to kind of be that was the case, because it's not always the case when you have leukemia like that. But he's doing all right, so that was kind of cool. And put it out, and people seemed to like it, which was good. Funnily enough, a lot of people that would never usually like Arusha or Devil commenting on it, which, you know, I got a feeling that probably not everybody's going to enjoy that track from the current fan base, but it might open up some doors for people that kind of would want to support that sort of cause anyway.
Is it ever difficult to kind of like write about that kind of stuff and, you know, not come across as like, because lyrically you've got to come across as
sincere, yeah,
genuine and sincere, yeah, not.
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, I don't tend to just write them off of non-events, etc. Like, it has to come from experience in life, or something's happened, or it's happening to somebody I know. Same as with Lost on the last Devil album. You know, I literally sat down with Alex for a couple of hours and just spoke to him about his mum passing, and I just wrote down what he said and turned those into the lyrics. So I think it's important to sort of be as, you know, like say, sincere, as honest with your music as possible. And that term probably gets criticism occasionally, because, like, of course, all music should be honest and etc. But when it comes to talking about subjects where they have like real personal meaning and impact and effect on your own life, you have to be. But I don't know how you can't be at the same time.
Yeah, it's always just like, if people kind of say that, it's people that are wanting to kind of troll or cause trouble, and
yeah,
I just don't understand where that kind of energy and effort comes from.
Oh, definitely. 100% I will get some grief from this, just purely because that's human nature. And I've had it so much in the past with both bands. Like, some of the abuse that you get is unreal. So 100% expect to get some for this. And I don't care.
Yeah,
my skin's got a lot thicker over the years. I think, I used to get quite downbeat about it, but realistically, I don't care about these people.
If you don't like this song, okay, that's fine. If you like the other songs, just go listen to them.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
they don't exist anymore.
You don't have to spend 10 minutes writing a reason why you hate the song, hate me, and hate everything in the world.
Yeah,
it's like, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I remember when I joined Devil initially, I got so much grief, especially from like some of the hardcore fans. To be fair, and this is not a reflection on Russian fan base in general, but they're very, very blunt with what they say. Right. So I genuinely had messages saying like, just fuck Paul Green. And it was like before I'd even sung a single note on record. So people will say what they want to say. You can't stop that. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you just do you. And like we've kind of talked about, this project isn't about you anyway. It's about the causes that the songs are about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that's 100% that. I mean, like, go back to sort of song types. So yeah, we've got alt rock, sort of punky sort of style stuff. I think the next song would be a bit more rocky. Depends which one comes out next. And then there's even a country rock one, which I really don't like country. I've got to be honest. Right. But then I started writing this song, and it's like, oh god, this is a country song. so I'm going to try it. I haven't recorded it yet, so I need to spend a bit of time probably with Johnny, and I think Clayton's going to help out a lot more on this one. Just trying to make it a little less Dolly Parton and a little bit more kind of normal, kind of rock with a tinge of country to it.
Right.
It's so annoyed that I've written a song that in a genre that I wouldn't generally listen to, but it's actually good, which is even more annoying.
Yeah. Is there a banjo in there?
Oh no, it's not going that extreme. No slide guitar, I don't think either. No. But it's more the lyrical like flow and the stylizations of it all. It's like, Jesus, is actually pretty country. Right. But then there's a couple of bits of that, a bit more folky stuff as well. Like the Christmas song is kind of a bit more of a folky one. I just with that one, I've got to get a choir and back end of it. So I know a few choirs to have a chat to. So that's something to do over the next sort of 6 months. But yeah, plenty to sort out, plenty still to do.
So what's the kind of plan then? Like, is it going to be a new song every month or something like that?
So that initially was the idea, and I just realised that probably with writing a new Devil album and doing all these sorts of things, it's going to be really difficult to make that work. So from a vocal perspective, yeah, I could write a song in every month, no problem. But it's then getting the studio time and getting the people in to sort of play the instruments, because I'm just not quite good enough at everything.
Right.
And yeah, it's just making sure people are available without derailing any of the other plans that we've got outside of it.
Yeah.
So I don't think it matters too much whether it's a song every other month or every month or once a quarter, but I just want to keep some momentum with this, make sure it's not just a couple of tracks and then it dies a death. So yeah, just that, and then you're trying to get some sort of more auction side of things going as well. So just trying to get some signed equipment and things from people from other bands. Randomly, I go to the pub with the Status Quo drummer quite a lot. The original one, John Coughlin, he's quite local.
Claim to fame.
Yeah, it's really weird. Really nice guy. Like, super, you got some amazing stories. But yeah, get something signed by him and see what I can do locally. I know Tony Iommi lives in a couple of villages away, so just anything I can do, and trying to raise money on online auctions and stuff as well to bring that into the fold.
And you talked again about the going into kind of country, which isn't a genre you really listen to. Would you say there's any genres that are kind of off the table that you wouldn't really write?
I don't think I could probably write something like grime or trap or anything like that. It's not. No. It just wouldn't suit me. And also lyrically, just the stuff I could write to that, I just wouldn't make sense. It would be really fraudulent. It feel like writing to that.
You can call yourself Lil Paul.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be a good name.
Yeah. I guess like I wouldn't mind trying some more, like bands like the Black Queen, like a more gothy electro type thing. I wouldn't mind trying some bits down that sort of route, because I've written a couple of tracks like that in the past, which I haven't put out. I guess the only thing that's off the table is screaming. I don't want to write anything too heavy, just purely because I don't think it would get the universal listeners that as much as I'd love to write stuff like that, I think it's probably the wrong thing to do for a charity. And bearing in mind that they all vet the lyrics. So you have to make sure that if you want association with a charity, I think it's super important to make sure that it doesn't tread over any lines. And some charities don't even accept songs,
right?
Which is mental. I mean, I looked at Mind UK, it's another one, another mental health charity, really respect. They don't accept any songs, any money from that sort of revenue, which is, I can understand it. And I guess a lot of it is down to people going, hey, there's songs for charity. What 10% of it's going to charity? Whereas we've made it really clear with our pledge and on our website, it sort of states exactly what we're doing, exactly how much money it costs us to do everything, but that's not coming out of the song tallies. We launch everything through tunecore.com, and it tells you the percentages that work out the profit margins. We just want to be completely transparent with everything.
Yeah. So what's kind of that process then, if there's anyone listening who's, perhaps makes music or is in a band and they want to kind of do a song for charity, what is it, the process there? Would you approach charity first saying...
Yeah, I would do. So, for example, like I had a good look around online, so just to see what their terms and conditions were when it came to fundraising for things like with music or video. Then I approached them and asked, for their blessing and such, and if I could have their logos and to be able to use. and they ask for the lyrics in return. So just make sure that whatever you're writing isn't going to be horrific.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were really appreciative at Young Minds, and they have been on social media so far. And it's just about trying to make sure that you don't tread over any lines with it. So obviously with Worry, I didn't have to write a song about mental health and it to go to a mental health charity. I don't think that's necessarily what they're looking for. They're just looking for stuff that sticks to their values. So yeah, that's basically it really, in terms of like getting it out the door. And then yeah, just chuck it over to whatever platform you want to sell it on. Some will be better than others. You may want to use a record label, but for me personally, as much as I respect all the labels that I've worked with over the years, I don't really want to be given a percentage of any profits from a sale for charity to a record label.
Kind of goes against what you're trying to do with it.
100%. Yeah. No one should be making money off of this other than the charities.
If you were to look in the future, this time next year, where would you hope this new Wolds project would be and what it's achieved? What are you hoping for?
So I'd like to have like a good list of songs out with having helped a bunch of charities over 2023. I don't know about live shows. I'm really like stuck on this one, whether I'd want that to be a thing, purely because I find them really stressful these days, which is mental. I've done so many over the years, but I can't imagine having to do 3 live bands if Arusha comes back and does live, that is. I guess I want it to be at a point where people see Wolds as the organisation that I want it to be, which is just a charity organisation, not just something that's about music. So stepping outside of the songs and trying to get these auctions going or getting any fundraising pieces that we can do as well. I want it to be seen as like a hub for good in music, that maybe I could get some people on board that have a bigger status than myself or the other guys in it, so that we can help boost it even further. Fortunately, obviously know a lot of musicians over the years from growing up in the scene, but whether they'd be into doing something like this, I don't know. It's tough to know. I guess we're going to take it one song at a time, 1 month at a time, and see where we go. People might completely ignore it. Who knows? Social media might block us from doing anything good. We know how it works.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that's not the case, but can't rule that out, unfortunately.
Yeah. Just I want to stay positive. I said that, and I want to stay positive with it. Just want to do as much good as possible. That's basically where we're aiming to go.
Well, now there's some people listening to this who, will also be keen to know about, the other bands that you're in that we've mentioned, Devil Soul Soul and the Arusha Accord. So with Devil, you put your latest album out in April 2021. So, and it's crazy to think that that's nearly 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
Of course, it is, yeah. And, of course, that's the first album where, it's you and Ed doing the vocals and the lyrics, kind of like trading off and sharing that responsibility in the band. Looking back at that record now, like I say, 2 years on, not only considering, the gap between material with Devil, but also pointing out at a time when, the lockdowns were still rife and stuff. How kind of was that? What was that time like for you? And, looking back on the album, do you think it kind of achieved what you were hoping for?
I guess like it was pretty frantic time-wise. We had to fit a lot of stuff in very late in the day because of the way the lockdowns were coming in quite heavily. So getting videos shot like 3 in 3 weeks or things like this. We would never have done that previously. I really enjoyed the process. It was stressful because we didn't have a label until after we'd finished recording the album, and we didn't really know where it was going to go, whether it was going to be a self-release or whether we were going to be putting it out into the world via a label. And obviously, we have Nuclear Blast Records, which is like way above the expectations of what I had when we wrote it. We knew it was a good record. We were really proud of it, but I didn't really expect us to get onto Nuclear Blast, if I'm honest. So, massive kudos to Barley there for just really feeling the record and bringing it on board. And yeah, that was great. And we did have a great time with that. And all of that sort of initial phase there. I think touring was affected massively for us. And I don't think we've achieved as much as we would have liked to with the touring. Partly of that, we get, whether they're real reasons or whether they're excuses we've been given by people that, things are just delayed by a couple of years, festival lineups and this, so you're not on this year. I don't know if I buy that anymore. So yeah, I think we probably missed our window for touring Loss, doing the festival run that we probably would have hoped, and it deserved. It's the first time we've charted with an album, and we were like number 2 rock album. We should have been playing the festivals. So that was a bit of a kick in the balls in some ways. So I think we had to, as much as we were super happy with the way the label dealt with things and that we the press was great for it, and etc. etc. Really disappointed with the show perspective. UK tour was great. We did a couple of other bits like Arctangent, but even Arctangent was because someone dropped out. So you kind of like, we should have been playing Download. We should have been playing the European festivals. I don't know, really, there's no real excuse for that. So yeah, we had to think about, do we want to do another record? And everyone's on board. So we started writing. We had a first session this weekend, just gone. So we got 3 tracks down. We're plowing ahead. We want to make this happen. We want to do something that gets us the tours that we feel that we deserved over all these years. We haven't had those support slots that I think, I'm not saying that 100% we deserve it, but we've worked hard over these last 10, 20 years. It'd be nice to be getting some of that.
Yeah, especially now as well that you're on Nuclear Blast. Like you said it yourself, you kind of got, I guess, fucked over a little bit on terms of the live circuit with Lost, but I would hope that with the next record, because you've kind of got the backing of Nuclear Blast, and because of how well Lost did, critically and also in the charts, that would be able to push you into getting, all those kind of live opportunities with this next one.
Yeah, I really hope so. And we were new to the label last time. I think we've solidified our position with a second album on there, 100%. Obviously, we were a bit of a shock to the system for some Nuclear Blast fans who probably thought we were a lot lighter than they would have liked on the record. But we have gained a hell of a lot more fans from the back of it. You think about the reach of Nuclear Blast at 3 million fans on like Instagram, etc., and so on and so forth. It really does matter when you get on a bigger record label. And also the press we're territorial press, especially. So we did the usual UK stuff, which was awesome, but we were doing South America and way more in North America, loads in Australia and so on and so forth. That's something we've never had previously, not to that extent. So it's opened doors up to an Australian tour later this year, which is a real positive. And as much as I'm a little moan about not getting the tours and getting the festivals earlier, that's something that it has given us some weight behind us, like being on a label like that. And knowing that if you do go and tour in Australia or New Zealand or wherever in the world, that they've got somebody in that territory that can help push that tour and you as a band. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. So you said there's some work going on for the next album now. You said about 3 songs from the first session. What's kind of the timeline looking? I mean, I don't know if you've got like...
Oh, no idea at the moment, honestly. I guess that's the tricky bit because we've got other things that we want to do this year. So we've got some anniversary shows that we want to get in there, like Bless and Curse turned 10, Empire Light turned 10 last year.
Yeah,
and we're just trying to figure out how the hell do we fit doing that in, because it's not
2
just
anniversaries in 1 year.
We were looking to do back-to-backs with those shows, one album one night, next, but I just don't know if it's possible now, purely because you think about how many practices that's going to take to get 2 albums worth of material. Some of the songs we've never played before, absolutely nailed, split between the 2 vocals, get all the production ready. You're talking probably 9 weekends worth of practice and production. I don't know where we're going to find that time with life in general, and if we want to play some festivals or we want to do this and that. So we're probably going to whittle it down and do an anniversary this year and an anniversary next year. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see when that's going to be. We're talking about this weekend, so we need to make it happen. We're very good at not following things through. It's probably why we don't get the tours. But yeah, we're going to get that sorted ASAP. So we get it out to sort of the fans and get tickets sort of selling early, and probably be a couple of shows there. Won't be doing like a full UK tour, European tour off the back of it. It's just be a couple of nights, really be good shows. Everyone enjoy themselves, and be fun.
Yeah, and that kind of build up a bit of hype as well for this next record, and also for you guys to kind of feel reinvigorated going back into those kind of sessions again.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the bits that I've sort of spoken with the guys about a lot, and it doesn't dictate anything at all. But I really don't want to be just a band doing anniversary shows. Like you get a lot, come back and do it. I hate that. It's just we're not that band. We've still got a lot more to write. So I've always sort of said, if we are going to be doing anniversary shows, we need to be looking at new material too. So we're going to try and juggle that. We've got another session we're booking in early March to do a second writing session. So that'll probably be rounding off a couple of these 3 tracks and also doing a couple more. So that'll be half an album done then, hopefully. So although I don't believe it won't be like anywhere near coming out this year. Next year is looking pretty good.
Yeah, promising.
Yeah, definitely.
So on to the Arusha Accord. I know, obviously, your last release was the Duracan EP in 2018.
Jeez, yeah, that's
Yeah.
a long time ago. Yeah, this is a bit different with Arusha. But Arusha's kind of like unraveled back into a bit of a bedroom band.
Right.
It feels like anyway. We're still active, but the reality is like Luke, our bassist, does a lot of the composition.
Right.
So regardless of who creates parts in there, he pulls it together and makes these insane, crazy like journeys of tracks. He's just been super busy. He's got a young family as well, and his own little like PT business, and that's just been pulling his time fully. So we had a chat about it at the beginning of the year because I was a bit annoyed that things kind of hadn't moved along. I'm not going to lie. I've been waiting sort of a long time. And usually what happens when we've been waiting a long time with Arusha is the music gets finished and they expect the vocals done really quickly.
Right.
And it's like, oh, we need to get this out. It's like, come on, guys, you just had like 6 years to write your musical bits for 5 songs. Can you at least give me a little bit of time here? So that's, I get a bit frustrated with that. I'm not going to lie. They know that. We've spoken about it. Yeah, Luke sort of turned around and said, probably not going to be doing much for 6 months this year in terms of writing.
Right.
And the irony with that is the songs are pretty much finished.
Okay.
So it's almost just like signing them off. And they're really good. I'd say it's a better EP than Duracan. It's probably, of the 4 EPs we've got in the pipeline, it's probably my second favourite musically.
Right. Okay.
The third one's the best, 100%. But it's just getting over the line, and without any pressure from a label or anything like that. Sometimes you need that pressure to be able to sort of push you to get things sorted out.
Yeah. So the 4th EP series is still planned.
Very much there. Very much there.
Ahead.
The irony is like a lot of the songs are written for the other ones as well.
Right.
But it's just the finalization of everything. And that's like, tweaking tempos and, this bit needs a better sequencing, a better run to like stitch it together and these components and stuff. It just takes time. And unfortunately, when you get to sort of time of our lives, when your work becomes more important, when we were 20s with Arusha, we just did what the hell we wanted, drank too much, played every single toilet venue in the country. and we didn't have anything on our shoulders then. So it will happen. It's sorry to anyone that's waiting. It's not in my hands, unfortunately, but I'm ready to write to it whenever. And I've written 2 of the songs so far when I've been given demos. But the irony there is they probably change them a bit after every time they send me a demo. So I might have to throw some of those ideas away, unfortunately.
Well, like you say, life's different now. People are older. There's responsibilities like work, kids, everything else in between. So, which
is great. I mean, genuinely makes doing music even more fun for me because I get to get away from work and play some cool shows with my friends, write some cool music that people still care about, which is like absolutely mental. I love doing this more than ever. 100%.
It's just finding the time, I guess.
Yeah, I've got it. I make the time. Always make the time. Hence why we've got 3 projects on the go.
Yeah. Keep yourself busy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What else do you have planned for 2023 so far in, any of those 3 projects, that we've not already discussed?
Yeah, so mostly what we've discussed there. So just writing with Devil, getting his anniversary shows sorted out. Australia, New Zealand, hopefully a Japan show again. Trying to get some European shows in, which has been a lot harder than I thought it was going to be this time round. So just trying to play the places we haven't played yet that we've already got existing fans, and also where we want to expand to. So we've never done Australia and New Zealand. There's that side of things, but I guess that's really it for Devil. Like if we get the festivals on board, then great. If not, no problem. We'll just carry on writing until we've got a record. With Arusha, carry on as we were. So the back end of this year probably end up being more writing. Hopefully we can get something recorded this year if possible. But I'm not going to hold my breath at the moment until I've got the green light from Luke and the others. And with Wolds, just grow it. I think Wolds probably would be my, it's a lot more in my control, which is nice. I can actually get stuff sorted out and I don't have to rely on anyone else to make a decision. So Wolds probably be the thing that does more this year than any of the others. And it's exciting.
Yeah, and hopefully you raise quite a lot of funds and, if nothing else, awareness for these causes that you're writing these songs for. And hopefully it helps people out that are less fortunate than us.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate you having me on here because obviously that's given a platform to this. And it's for a band that's not really out there yet to have this opportunity. I do really appreciate it. So thanks, Zach.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Before I let you go, have you got any final words, anything you want to say, anything else you want to plug that we've not talked about?
Yeah, I guess just 9th of February, got the song Worry coming out. If you want to find out any more information about the sort of charities and the band itself, kind of what we're looking to do, if you go to woldsband.uk, everything's there. I've set up the website with as much information as possible. If you've got any requests for any charities that you'd like supporting, let Zach know in the comments or wherever this ends up. And that would be really appreciated. We open to all suggestions. Kind of this is a community project, so you're part of the community. This is a music community thing, so just do it.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Paul. I really appreciate you coming on.
Cheers, Zach.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll catch you at a show or something soon.
Yeah, definitely. Again, I really appreciate this and genuinely mean that. This is all about doing some good stuff. So thanks for being a part of that.
Yeah, I'm all for doing good stuff where I can, mate. So
good man.
Thanks very much, and I'll speak to you soon.
Legend. Take care, dude.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
And that is it. Thank you so much for listening. Again, if you enjoyed this or any other episode of the podcast, then please leave a rating and review wherever you're listening to this. If you want to support the podcast further, you can go and give it a follow on social media, pick up something from the merch store, or subscribe to the Patreon to get early access to episodes. All the links can be found at itsnotaphase.co.uk. That's itsnotaphase.co.uk. Thanks again, hopefully catch you on the next one, and remember, it's not a phase, it's a lifestyle.